welcome to Up Next With. I'm your favorite guest host, Ms. Charise Stevens. Up Next With is your community show to learn about some of the movers and shakers in our community. It's for the people, by the people, with a different guest host and a different topic each show. Now, I'm super excited today because I'm interviewing someone who's generally the interviewer. So I gotta step up my game. The gentleman I am interviewing today has had so many contributions to this community, and we're going to get to know him a little bit better. My guest today is Mr. Habersham. How you doing, sir?
I'm outstanding. How you doing?
Good to see you. I like those spots.
Yeah, good to be here. Yeah, I like them.
So today, of course, we're going to learn about some great events that you're doing, but I want the community to learn a little bit more about Alice Habersham. You have just been such a gem in the community. So, are you a native Maconite, or?
Well, how much is that? I'm kidding. Yeah, I was born and reared in the public housing of Macon, Georgia. I was born and reared in Tyndall Heights.
Really?
Yeah, which is a public housing project that they are now tearing down. And I went to B.S. Ingram, which is torn down, and I went to Ballard Hudson, which is torn down. But the interesting thing is I came up during segregated education. I went to an all-black elementary school, and then, of course, middle school, and then an all-black high school, which was Ballard Hudson High School, and it was co-ed. We had boys and girls, 2,000 students. And at one point, it was the largest high school, in the area because all the black kids went to Ballard Hudson. Well, I left there and went to Savannah State and got a teaching degree. So I got a job teaching in Savannah, and my principal, Dr. R.J. Martin, called and said, "Hey boy," said, "we want you back in Macon." So I began teaching at Ballard Hudson back during the dark ages. Now don't try to guess my age because I started when I was 7. Back during the dark ages, and I only taught at Ballard Hudson for 1 year. And I came along during the time of integration, when they integrated the school. So I go from attending a segregated high school to teaching at a segregated high school to being one of the first African American teachers to be transferred to what was then basically an all-white high school.
Oh.
Which was Lanier at the time. So I had a good time over there. Of course, I was scared to death, of course, because I grew up with the segregation, and then so I was thrust into the integration process, but I had a good time. Many of my students would probably hear, this interview, and they were phenomenally nice to me, and said they learned a lot under me. I also coached there. And then
what did you coach?
I coached football and track.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went into business. Started in business because I had a tape recorder, and then that I used for teaching, and so I used to put music on it. So I used to like to put music on a tape recorder. So then a guy gave me a recorder that would record 8 tracks, had an 8-track recorder on the side. So I started recording 8 tracks, started recording 8 tracks for people. And I said, well, hey, since I'm going to do this commercially, I need to be able to access records at a wholesale. So I started Habersham Records.
Okay.
Now while doing that, and I'm going to cut across the cornfield because it would take a long time to go through all of this. But that's how I started in business. Now I've owned a record shop, a radio and TV repair shop, a game room, a newspaper, a car wash, a transportation company, and I better stop naming them because it'll take the rest of the day.
Now with you saying that, 2 things, like I didn't know your teaching background, but that says a lot because you are an explainer. you do like let people know how things are going, and you do have a way of making people feel comfortable. So with you telling me about your teaching background, that makes sense on that. But I do have a question. How do you feel about like Tyndall Heights and some of these places that you grew up with being torn down? Are we keeping the history alive, or how do you feel about some of that?
Well, there were some efforts, and frankly, I should have joined them. But I don't think, you know, one thing, and I told Bob this, Fickling, and, you know, because I heard a sermon by my pastor that said that, you know, a lot of these young people get in trouble because we're not teaching them their history. So I gave a shout out to Bob Fickling, you know, for his, you know, episode, visual tools that he does on Facebook quite often. So, I mean, you know, there has to be an agreeable mix of new construction and modernization and history. And, you know, there have been some efforts to at least preserve the legacy of Tyndall Heights and not spending too much time on that. But a whole lot of successful people came out of Tyndall Heights, more than you would imagine. So, I don't know. I mean, I understand that. And they were old, too. That's the other thing. They could not have been renovated. You know, they didn't have air. Right. And you could not have put central air in them because they were built on a slab.
I'll be interested to find a little bit more. I live, you know, not too far from it, but until recently, I didn't know about some of the successful people, or any, I didn't know any history of it. And I was like, wow, we definitely to share, including you, sir.
81C Tyndall Heights.
So with your many businesses, I guess that's where your passion came for helping other small businesses.
Oh yes, oh yes, oh yeah. Well, yeah. So in 1991. You know, I had a newspaper too, called the Macon Courier.
Okay.
You know, as a matter of fact, I'm the founder of the Macon Courier. And it's no longer in existence, but, you know, I started it back in 1974, I think. And then I moved on, and in about 1991, I became interested in trying to find a mechanism to publicize and improve businesses, particularly African-American businesses in the community. And that's when we started Black Pages. So we are now embarking on our silver anniversary. Thank you very much. Hold the applause. And you know, I'm just so appreciative and thankful for the opportunity to be of service to the community, particularly business-wise. And the objective of the publication is to, you know, expose, promote, and assist primarily African-American businesses so potential consumers can be aware of what they can do to try to support their community by supporting these businesses that are listed. All African-American businesses in Central Georgia get a free listing. So one can go to the publication and see by category, you know, if in fact they want to get an appliance repaired, then they can go to appliance repair and do that. So, you know, frankly, I'm very, very appreciative of the support that I've received from the community. And I hasten to say that I receive a great deal of support from the corporate community also, because there are corporations who recognize and realize and understand the impact that African American consumerism has on this community, so they want to give back, and they also want the exposure in the community, because everybody, you know, all corporations, this is important, don't take, you know, the black dollar for granted.
Right.
You know, African Americans spend $3.5 billion a year. And
did you hear that? $3.5 billion a year.
That's
a lot of money.
Yeah, right. That's a lot of money. And so I think that, you know, if we could tastefully, challenge more of that money into our own community, not from a separatist angle, but from a self-help perspective. Then, we could, as these businesses do better, then that would affect education and politics and civic activities and of course economic activities and spiritual activities. The more people, more money they make in their business, the more they're going to contribute to the church. So this can be a phenomenal stimulus.
Right. I keep your little dirty black pages at my office and stuff, and I didn't realize your book allows us to make smart decisions.
Yes.
And because there's so much out there, and to have that one piece of information that you can look and, I mean, to me, I really appreciate it because it's helping me be more aware of how I can spend my dollars. And then what's happening is people I'm spending money with, they're actually coming and supporting me as well.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. And it's just good sense. There's nothing wrong for trying to advance and promote, your own community, not from a separatist angle, but, it's kind of like, the people from Atlanta like the Falcons, so people gravitate toward things which are special and essential to them. So I encourage everybody, whenever possible, to get a copy of the Black Pages, or to go to the website, www.maconblackpages.com. And you can see the businesses listed by category, and we just added a little news section and an event section. So we don't just try to capture, the economic end, but that's important. But we try to have a website that's interesting. So we carry some news. Matter of fact, we had our show on there with you and me when the role was reverse.
Yeah. And it's very user friendly.
Yeah. And the thing, and I said this because although, I'm the interviewee and not the interviewer, but, the theme for this book is Macon, Georgia, Black Pages, a driving force in the social, economic, civic, and educational advancement of our community for over 25 years. Yeah. So we want to, and we've had different themes for every book. Last year we worked on downtown. The year before we did nonprofits. The year before that we did the physicians and the doctors in the area. So we try to be relevant.
So what, I've seen it too, the Think Black
hashtag.
Okay, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, hashtag Think Black Pages First is a hashtag that we have initiated to remind people that there's a resource available where you can go and find businesses with which to do businesses, and to remind people that there's nothing wrong with self-help and self-improvement. One thing that I tell people as it relates to addressing problems, they could be individual, community, or otherwise, racial or otherwise, I tell them to work on me first and us second. So we got to make sure we got our houses in order and that we're doing everything that we can do, from an individual and a collective perspective to improve our community.
So if someone is looking at this show now and they wanted to start their own business, what advice would you give them? Of course, to Georgia Black Pages.
Advertising Black. Just kidding, no.
but to get started, because with the internet, it's a lot of information, but sometimes it's all over the place, and you really need to focus your energy on what you're trying to do. So what advice would you give a new business owner who say,
Well, the first thing I'm going to tell them is that there's nothing wrong with working a job. You know what I'm saying? Because some people have illusions of grandeur. 95% of the small businesses that go into business fail. A lot of them fail. But the primary reason for the failure is the lack of a business plan So before talking to anybody, if you got a good idea, now there's nothing wrong with a good idea, but you've got to do the research. And the best way to research it is to go to the internet, as you said, and download a business plan. Now what the plan does, it makes you consider every facet. You know, how much money, the location, you know, your marketing plan, you know, your financial plan and your organizational plan. You know, it makes you answer all of those questions. And I've seen instances where people thought they wanted to go into business, and then they started working on that business plan. They say, oh no, I have the taxes and insurance and all that stuff.
That's a lot.
They say, I don't want to do this. But on the other hand, a lot of people get that plan, and then they say, oh, I didn't know I should take care of this. And then they take care of all of the things that need to be taken care of, and then that contributes significantly to the possibility of success.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yes, it is.
It's a lot of hard work.
Yes, it is.
So and would you saying that a lot of people don't have business plans? I've noticed that.
Well, you gotta have one. You gotta have one. And you know, that's what I tell, you know, those individuals in the publication, you know, and we're going to, may I mention the 25th anniversary celebration?
Oh, yes, please.
Please?
Yes.
You sure? Yeah, on October the 25th at the Tubman African American Museum, we're going to have a business mixer. Now, we've done this for several years. We have a business networking mixer where we invite businesses, free of charge, to come in and network and learn more about each other and interact with each other. Matter of fact, in August we had one at the Tubman. Want to give a shout out to want to give a shout out to Overtime for providing the food for that. I'm saying that because I wanted to provide the food for this one too. And so we're going to have this mixer at the Tubman on October the 25th at 5:30. And what we'd like to do is kind of focus on the status of our community from an economic perspective. And what I mean by that, we are going to display all the books that we printed, you know, and then we're going to invite consumers. And then we're going to begin the long celebration, almost a year, of having been in business for 25 years. And then the next edition will be our silver anniversary edition. Of course, we're encouraging people to participate in that, and because I know that, you know, if you're in business that you would want the exposure. So
it is no charge to attend?
No.
No.
And we're not going to have exhibitors. We got Coliseum Hospital, PPA, payroll personnel and accounting, and organization that's moving to Macon, and Attorney Virgil Adams and Edible Arrangement. They're our sponsors. So as a result of this sponsorship, we're able to have the event free of charge. We're not going to have exhibitors booth, but we are encouraging everybody to bring your literature, your business cards, etc., and your mouthpiece, and talk about your business and interact with people. But that's on October the 25th at the Tubman Museum at 5:30.
That's the best deal in Macon.
What up?
So can they just show up? Do they need to register beforehand?
They can register at the door. Just, y'all come, you hear?
Just come.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell the audience as well, if they wanted to get in contact with you? I know that you have the free listings on the website. If they want to advertise in Mildred's Black Pages, just some more information so they can get in contact with you after the show.
Well, before I do that, I want to thank you, for interviewing me. I want to thank the executive producer, Dr. Bob Fickling, for allowing me to come on the show, and want to again give a shout out to him for all that he does for this community. I'm very, very appreciative. I didn't know he was a musician till the other day. We're going to talk about, he and I are going to talk about that, because we're going to do something downtown
Right.
as it relates to music we're talking about.
Both you guys are Renaissance men.
Yeah. So in order to reach me, if you're interested in, now you can advertise immediately, although the book is coming out next year, probably in the fall. If in fact you want to do some marketing and get some exposure now, we've got the website available, and we've got a very, very successful email marketing campaign that we involve in. And let me say this, I don't care who it's with, but if you're in business, then all of us need to realize the impact and the importance of advertising and marketing. Too many people tell me, well, I can't afford to advertise. Well, I tell them, you can't afford not to.
Yeah.
So that's why you can't afford to.
Okay. So for the audience, you can get him through
478-464-0074, www.maconblackpages.com, and you can reach me by way of email. I don't say like Reverend Franklin, I don't say fax me anymore. They're not using that anymore. Email me at Habersham7, the number 7, Habersham, the number 7 at gmail.com. That's the easiest way.
But most important, we're all going to be there on October the
25th.
25th. What time again?
5:30.
5:30. It's free. It's going to be a lot of great information. You get a chance to network. So I want to see all business owners, people who think about getting in business, or you just want to come and celebrate in this awesome, because 25 years is remarkable. And I want to say thank you so much for all you do for the community. You inspire me. I'm getting my ducks in a row as well, so I appreciate everything you do. And again, thanks to Up Next With for our crew, our producer, our wonderful guest, Mr. Alex Habersham. We'll see you again next show where we'll be talking to some more movers and shakers to keep you in the know. It's Up Next With. I'm Charise Stevens.
I want you to be an inspiration to other individuals in the community who get an idea. You know, everything starts with an idea. And then when you are desirous of doing something or getting something done or initiating a project, once you get the idea, research it. You know, try to develop it. Talk to people about it. So I just want to, I want to knock on wood because you are so successful, and I'm so proud of you, and I see you around town, and you're involved in things, and I'm sure that you serve as inspiration and motivation to other young people in the community. And then I want to challenge other individuals who are her age or younger or even older. You know, you too. You know, she's not doing this as a job. You know, she's doing this as an effort, as a humane effort, you know, to do something in the community, to be concerned in the community. And if you're doing something good, you can get support.
And
Let's talk about
fitness can start out with a good walk, and that's what we're trying to
Yes.
do.
You know, you really need to say that again, because I've heard people say, well, I can't do it, you know, my bones. This. Talk about the benefits and the advantage of just, and you know, my wife gonna get me because she tells me every morning, well, just get up and walk. But talk about the benefits of walking.
So if you're Rhode Island, Macon, we have dialysis centers on every corner. We're 146 out of 159 counties. So if everyone walked 2 to 3 days a week, we can cut down on diabetes, people going to dialysis, having a better quality of life, and we lose 10 business days, sick days, because people are so unhealthy. So walking 30 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day can really reverse a lot of, include also drinking
A day
water.
or a week?
A week.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's a day.
Yeah.
I got excited because I did 2 a day.
Well, I was getting excited too about the 30 minutes until you said 2 or 3 times a day. I said, oh, There goes the
I didn't want to
neighborhood.
today, so I'm kind of sorry.
There goes the neighborhood.
But it really can make a difference, and you know, we're talking about jobs and creation, and it's a lot of opportunities. If you Google what can happen here in Middle Georgia, if we had a healthy, we can bring more companies here, we can be more productive at so many levels, and that's what I want. I mean, I'm a Maconite. I love Macon. I'm gonna be here for a while. I have a home here, and I want our people to be healthier and be more productive. You know, how can you vie for a grant, you know, if you're sickly, you know, or you can't get out to a meeting and find out information? And we're getting left behind because you don't have that extra go and go. Like today, I've already ran twice. I've had 4 meetings on the paper show, and I'm actually not tired because my body now is learning how to, you know, capture my energy. So I'm feeling a lot better. So that's why I want people to, you know, start being more active. You'll see, like, you know, it's hard, but as you just keep doing it, you start having more energy to get things done.
You know, Macon is known as an age-friendly community.
Yes.
Through the auspices of AARP and the World Health Organization.
Right.
I'm going to label you as the person in charge of a health-friendly community.
Mm.
Because like it's an age-friendly community, we can, fitness-friendly, you know, whatever you want to call it, but I think that's an expression that we can utilize for our community.
I'm getting a name tag.
That we can utilize for our community that will help to encourage people like Alex Habersham and other individuals, seriously, you know, to be more concerned and attuned to being healthy and fit. And see, you know, I mean, I know you've seen the thing that you know, it's a circle with a red mark through, and what that means is no excuses. You know, there are no excuses as it relates. Strange, I would know that somebody would throw a rock at me. But there's no excuse as it relates to being healthy. All it takes is a willingness and desire. And I'm going to commit to you.
Yes, sir.
I'm
listening. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That you have influenced me to start my 3 days, 30 minutes at a time walk. Now you gotta help me, you know. So I know you will. I know you will. Because sometimes you might have 30 minutes and say, "Come on, let's go." I got my tennis shoes, and I'm downtown, and you are downtown. Your office is downtown. But then maybe when watch this, why don't we just start the Habersham Stevens downtown walk?
Okay, we got it.
And then we could just, and people will you know, well, I'm gonna do that, but I need your help. Because you have to just kind of, you know, just, hey, you know.
We're going to incentivize and say all the Middle Georgia Black Pages businesses. We're going to have this community walk, and you're going to come out, and you're going to lead the walk for us.
Walk with her, walk with me.
Walk with Alex.